Living in such close proximity with mountains, forests, rivers, the whole experience seeped into me and it came out magically in my writing. Arunachal is a state where mountains are the limit. These whole stories are the stories we grew up listening near the fireplaces with our elders. Other writers, I really enjoyed writing by East Asian writers.
Hello, everyone. We are at the third Ramnath Goenka Sahithya Samman, and with me is Subi Taba, the winner of the Best Fiction Award. Hi, Subi. Welcome. This is Subi's book, Tales from the Dawnlit Mountains, and they're really fascinating tales of places and people that you haven't heard of before. So, Subi, from your book, it seems that you have scaled mountains, hunted tigers, and you can climb trees. Was it simply out of research that you were able to write about it so graphically?
So I live in Arunachal Pradesh and I grew up in a small town, which was a small town situated between mountains. And our house was built just near a small forest. So I think since childhood, I was exposed to those environments where people go fishing to the rivers. And because of living in such proximity to nature, most of the village stories were related to nature, related to hunters going to the jungle and about tigers. So I think living in such close proximity with mountains, forests, rivers, the whole experience seeped into me and it came out magically in my writing. So
Right.
I didn't for the research, I didn't literally go,
Right.
but I was already there. Arunachal is a state where mountains are the limit.
Right. In your stories, you also blur the line between what is real and what is fabulistic. But while it might be quite understandable to people from your region, how do you appeal to, or rather, how did you have to think for the readers who would not be familiar with those particular fables? What did then, as a writer, what kind of skill or art that did you have to bring into play?
So when I started writing the short story collection, I didn't had this thought certain readers from certain part of the country might not understand.
Right.
So I just wrote the stories according to the field of the characters and about certain idea. Like, for example, there are stories. The first story is about a man turning into tiger, which is a myth based in Arunachal Pradesh. And also there are other stories where there is a mystical python in the village and about forest spirits, and the curse of trees, damning the whole family. So these whole stories are the stories we grew up listening near the fireplaces with our elders. And when I wrote, it just came naturally to me. So in a way, maybe because of the culture there, these stories are not like magical realism, they are realism. And people, I feel like the people, especially in the villages, they believe that there is forest spirits, there is soul in a stone. So people believe that, and this belief, it became the part of the fiction.
Right. Because in India, I mean, for example, where I come from, Bengal, we have tales we call the Thakumar Jhuli, tales of demons and demon queens birthing human children and such like. And of course, we've also been exposed to Soviet, Russian folk tales. Were you by any chance inspired by them? Or if not, what kind of writing appeals to you? Are there any writers that you like, that you've been inspired by?
So most of our folklores has been oral, and most of the stories I drew inspiration from the oral narration that our villages, especially my village in East Coming, have. And talking about other writers, I really enjoyed writing by East Asian writers. I read some Chinese short story collections written in the 1960s for this as a research material for this book. So I think I really enjoyed, especially there was one book called Strange Stories from a Chinese Studio.
Oh, okay.
Which had like weird, strange
I'll look it up.
about women turning into foxes,
Okay.
demons living in a tree or a fox cursing people. So it was very interesting book. And also we also decided to put illustrations in the book.
Yes.
Like in your previous question, you asked about the understandability
Right.
of other readers. So that was the reason we decided to add illustrations, because within Arunachal there are lots of communities, different tribes, and within tribes also we have different way of dressing, different attire, different customary practices. So the reason we decided to add some illustrations was to bring out the soul of the book and try to give an anthropological experience to the reader who have never been to Arunachal.
There's a lovely story. In many levels, it's also a very simple story, and actually, maybe a more simpler story than many of your other stories in this book. The story about the Chinaman. I mean, who's not really a Chinese, but somebody who strayed into China. So there's a question that the Chinaman raises that I'll just tell you because I noted it down. Does it matter which land I originally belong to and the land which I eventually fall in love with? Is this by any chance, I mean, your like voicing of the Arunachali dilemma?
So that particular line was the story of a man who inadvertently gets into the Chinese border. And the reason I let the character say those words is because, sometimes like when we travel also, like if we travel somewhere, if I come to Chennai to work here and live here, and if I fall in love with the culture here, does it really matter that I walk in Arunachal Pradesh?
That's
not
true.
belong here anywhere else.
Yeah.
So that particular character of the Chinaman was about him falling in love in Tibet and forming a family and building a life there. And he also realizes the beauty of life, the happiness of having a family, and also the desire to be a man in that country. So I let the character fall in love with that place and try to experiment a bit in like situations where people can fall in love with other places and have discussions or about migration, about people loving and losing things in their life due to geography.
Right.
Due to a marked boundary.
The last question I wanted to ask you is, how does your profession help you being a writer?
So my profession as an
Yes.
agriculturist. So I don't know how it helps, but I think my knowledge in plant sciences I studied masters in vegetable sciences, and I'm from a plant sciences background.
There's certainly a lot of trees in the
Yes.
book.
So we had to study a lot of flora, fauna as well. And because of that basic knowledge, when I wrote about some stories, especially the Lost Village and Spirit of the Forest, which has a lot of animals and lot of plants as a part of the world building here. So I think in these stories, it really helped me understand environment in the perspective of science as well, and perspective of science, and put it into arts. So I think that way my job helped. And also my job, like that story, Spirit of the Forest and Love and Longing in Sejosa, those stories happen because I was posted in those districts. And those are really far-flung districts with cobbled roads, and there are no modern amenities.
Right.
You cannot waste your money there because you can't find restaurants and places where you can spend money. There is just nature, there is tiger reserve around, and you can literally hear elephants trumpeting in the distance.
Wow.
So I had the opportunity to live and work in such environment. And when you live and work in such environment, those things just seep into you, and it came out in my writing.
Thank you. Thank you for a lovely conversation. Thank you.